What else has been going on with you for the rest of the year? Behind the scenes, because it's never a dull moment right now.
So
we're still in the middle of this fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's obviously the public smears that goes on, and but getting a lot of good traction as well. So in Australia, South Africa, I happen to be that doctor who was able to break the mainstream where no one else had been able to do that, because I know that has its own.
Why is that? Is that because you're British? Is that because you have a history? Is that because you're credible?
Probably a combination of those things. Okay. And I'm also very tenacious as well, Brian. I just keep at it, and you
understand the power of the media, and you know how to, quite frankly, speak to the media and channel the media to do what you know needs to get done. And very few people know that side, right?
Yeah, and I think, absolutely. And I think also it's, even getting journalists to come to talks or whatever else, so their minds are open because of that. Because I think that, Gandhi did that very effectively. He had this fundamental belief, and I'm with him on this as well, that most human beings are intrinsically good or have good in them, right?
Me too.
And most people hate injustice. So one of the mechanisms, the most important mechanism he thought of changing hearts and minds was make the injustice visible.
Right.
So getting those journalists involved, or getting to the talks, or me connecting with parliamentarians in South Africa and Australia and speaking there, and all these things, it's about the ingredients of what also understanding what for a journalist makes a good story.
Right.
Who's saying it, what's new, what's being said, and then who's supporting you. So I kind of use that formula, I think, through a lot of the stuff I do, and then push it and hope for the best. So really, that's what I've been doing.
And you're still practicing medicine.
Yes.
And you're still commenting daily on Twitter and on everything that's going on. Like, if you had one goal before the end of the year, besides obviously getting your film finished, what would it be?
No, the most important thing is get this vaccine suspended.
Okay. Is that realistic?
I think it is, But as Robert Kennedy said to me, and he spoke about this when I spoke with him in Malibu at the end of last year, when you speak the truth, you got to let go of the outcome. So we just keep going hard, Brian, and hope for the best. But I think genuinely we are getting close to that tipping point. And once people understand how we got this so wrong, we're then able to expose the whole system and all its shortcomings and then fix it.
Right.
That's what we need to do.
Right. Okay, and then you're kind of going after the Pfizer, Moderna vaccines.
Yeah, I mean, I focus specifically because that's where I've done the most research on understanding it, and I don't want to go into other areas where I don't have the complete information. The only thing I would say is, I went to India at the beginning of this year because there were people over there. In fact, I was invited by Krisha and Anmol Ambani. So they're part of the Ambani family, which are a big, very wealthy, influential family in India. Wonderful people, extremely smart, really genuinely have a vision for, like a lot of people in this space, about how can we ultimately make the world a better place? How do we strengthen democracy? How do we improve people's health? How do you remove corporate tyranny? They're all for this, right? And they invited me over there because there were these concerns around the vaccine in India. Now, I hadn't realized until only shortly before I went there that in India they used a vaccine called Covishield, which was AstraZeneca. But nobody knew. And there were problems of unexpected people dropping dead over there. I was giving talks, and certainly by the summer of 2021, there was a publication in the Journal of Immunology, I think, if I remember correctly, which showed that the AstraZeneca vaccine for cardiovascular effects was worse than Pfizer. And we know how bad Pfizer was, or is.
Yeah.
And in the yellow cards reports in the UK, out of 9.7 million doses, there were 800,000 yellow card reports of adverse events. This is crazy.
Wow.
So I went there to India to try and educate the Indian public. Again, they weren't getting that to the mainstream, but I managed to get it into Times of India. And then there's a knock-on effect, And I spoke to Krisha, I only met her today because she's in London. And she said, Aseem, and what was interesting as well, and this was a challenge to myself, right? How do we have conversations with the other side? This is about difficult conversations, right? We can stay in our echo chambers. Yeah. We only get so far. We need to be able to have conversations with people who are indoctrinated, if you like. And I was invited to speak at the one of the most prestigious hospitals in India, which is owned by the Ambanis, called the KDAH Hospital in Mumbai. And I gave a grand round talk there. 2 doctors that didn't know what was coming. It was 200 doctors that were there, all fully indoctrinated. By the end of the talk, the penny dropped. They were gobsmacked, and then they came and said, "What can we do to support this? What do we do?" They realized there was a problem because the evidence is so clear when you present it.
Right.
So for me, that gives me confidence. But the key thing is, how do you get people to listen? And I think we do this through a way of having empathy and being compassionate, right? We can't do it through being aggressive. Doesn't work, puts people off.
Yeah.
Right. So, and a lot of these people, Brian, are our friends and family members. People have been, friends and families have been split.
Yeah.
Can't say that your family members are intrinsically evil.
Yeah.
It's just...
Yeah. And for a lot of us, that was us 3 years ago.
Well, exactly.
Right? Mental blockage.
No, I was there for a while. I was, I remember my friend, although we didn't have the data then, but one of my friends is a journalist, very good friends. We had a little mini falling out briefly. I don't know. I'm not that kind of. I'm naturally a forgiving person. I don't like to hold grudges or whatever. But I remember at the very beginning with the vaccine, he was saying to me, "Sam, I'm not going to have it," and stuff like. You don't know the long-term effects. But he didn't articulate himself in a way that convinced me. And I said something to him like, "Oh yeah, you never know. You could grow 3 heads." That's the way I treated the conversation with him. So I get it.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good if you can separate yourself.
But coming back just briefly on this, Brian, as well, in terms of the backlash and the stuff, I mean, that's ongoing in the sense that there have been several complaints to the General Medical Council about me over the last several months, maybe longer, asking them to investigate me. They've put out statements, which I got through social media, basically saying they don't agree with my views, but they respect my right to free speech, and they don't think I've done anything that puts my fitness to practice into question, which is very interesting and gives me hope. The way that I've conducted myself I've been for many years at the forefront of promoting ethical evidence-based medical practice with people like the chair of the General Medical Council, who was one of my referees and mentors, the former chair when he was the chair, co-authored a paper with him about against too much medicine, which was a joint campaign between the medical Royal colleges and the GMs and the BMJ. So I think a lot of them on the inside, many of those people know that. And I hope that they will see that, okay, even if we don't agree with Aseem, even they may be thinking there's a possibility he could be right. Mm. And if he is, and we go for him, how are we going to look? I don't know. Maybe they're thinking that way. Maybe they're still going to try and investigate me. But the most extraordinary thing, which I think is unprecedented in the history of British medicine, has happened recently. I got contacted a few weeks ago by a journalist with Pulse magazine. Pulse magazine is a medical press journal, which has more readership than the BMJ amongst general practitioners. And it was also covered in the BMJ as well, this story, but it was much more explicit in Pulse. And they contacted me to give a comment on the fact that 6 anonymous NHS doctors are working with the Good Law Project and getting crowdfunding to launching legal action, wait for it, against the General Medical Council, specifically for not investigating Dr. Aseem Malhotra on his position on the COVID vaccine. I don't think that's ever happened in British medicine. So they are taking legal action against the General Medical Council for not investigating me for my license to practice.
Wow. This is them fighting you, right?
Yeah, and you wonder why anonymous? They said that to avoid potential abuse. But again, listen, I want to be empathetic to these doctors, right? Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. They are fully indoctrinated in this understanding the vaccine safe and effective. They are thinking that I'm someone that's propagating misinformation, and they probably think that they are doing the right thing. I personally think there are probably some pharma links somewhere there. But I'm willing to accept whatever happens next. Bring it on is what I say. I'm not afraid to stand my ground on this. And it's interesting, again, that people were contacting me saying that the comment section in the BMJ and in Pulse were basically largely supporting me. So, that's a good sign.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. Hey, do you want to profit from crypto? Then join my DeFi Academy. The Crypto DeFi Academy will help you create generational wealth. But don't take my word for it. Listen to my students.
When I first got into crypto, I remember thinking to myself, I need to learn more. Brian Rose, learning crypto, learning DeFi, gotta do it.
I am so grateful that I jumped in and did this. I had to break through some limiting beliefs that I can do this, that I can afford this, that I can be in this.
It challenges the things that are deeply rooted within us.
Joining DeFi Academy has been one of the best decisions I have made on my blockchain journey.
This course was a life changer, a game changer, a huge eye-opener, coming from knowing practically nothing at the speed of the learning over 4 weeks was just fantastic.
The information you provided in this class was invaluable.
I feel far more confident in my next steps.
You took complex concepts and made them easier to understand.
What's different than so many other ones is it just doesn't tell you what to do. It actually makes you do it.
This is for people who are serious about becoming traders. This is the way it should be done.
I realized from this learning experience again that it is not about what you learn, but about who you learn it from.
The energy was insane. I've never experienced such incredible energy on a live call. Brian Rose, you are a legend, my friend.
It's the only thing in the market where you can get all information and learn everything what you need to know.
Everything is so clear and so well done, and I'm just forever grateful for this program.
It made me feel so much more confident about crypto than I did before.
I did not anticipate how passionate I was going to become about it.
It's also been like a big learning experience for me, not just in the crypto space, but just an overall balance of life.
What I've learned is, how to take ownership, of my life in a way that I really hadn't before.
Yeah, you can't put a price on that, really.
I would recommend it to anybody, top notch.
Excellence does not come cheap. So if you want excellence, you gotta pay for it, but it's so worth it.
Pull the trigger. That's what this course is about.
You're not going to regret it, really. It's amazing.
Thank you, Brian and team.
So what are you waiting for? Crypto is happening now. Click the link below, submit your application, and let me mentor you on how to create generational wealth and build the decentralized financial infrastructure of the future.